Hi, I'm John and welcome to the Jigsaw Puzzler. Today's puzzle is this mighty 2,000 piece puzzle from Master Pieces, an American jigsaw puzzle manufacturer. It shows it's licensed to the Lionel brand of model trains, and it depicts a series of model trains that Lionel Model Train Company produced and displayed on shelves with a few other model train accoutrements, also with the Lionel branding on them. This is an utterly magnificent puzzle. It's difficult, there's no doubt about it, and being 2,000 pieces, it took a long time, but this is a wonderful, wonderful puzzle to do. I'm going to talk about the quality of the Master Pieces puzzle. We're going to have a tour around the image, a closer look at it, and we're going to have a chat about how I solved this puzzle, because this one took hours and hours. Alright, the quality of the puzzle. First of all, when you open the box, inside it is a cardboard stand, which you fold up and you can use to hold the lid of the puzzle upright while you view it. So that you can see the picture as you're doing the puzzle. A quick look at the image here shows that there's the Lionel branding in one corner and this other badge over the top of the other corner, describing the fact that the easel is included. And one of the problems with this puzzle is that you don't get to see what is actually underneath either of those corners very clearly at all. Talk about a little bit more about that in a while. But yes, open the box and there is a stand inside it. The puzzle is quite good quality. Nice, reasonably thick puzzle pieces, not the thickest I've got, not perhaps as thick as some of the premium brands, but still not thin and ridiculous. It holds together pretty well. I think that I could, if I wanted to, lift the whole thing clear off the board, which is unusual for a 2,000 piece puzzle. Quite tricky to do. It's ribbon cut with all the standard puzzle piece shapes, but there are a variety of sizes. Some pieces seem reasonably large compared to others. It's not a uniform size, despite the fact that on the box it says that the pieces are approximately this size. Some of them are that size, some of them seem to be much bigger than that. However, it fits together very, very nicely, and some of the variations on the standard puzzle piece shapes mean that you can find a piece more easily to put in the right place than you otherwise might, where you've got very uniform piece shapes. It is glossy, so doing it with lights on has been a challenge. Looking across the puzzle to see if there's a reflected area of light, say over here at the moment and over there, it's difficult to distinguish what the details are without moving and getting right up close. That being said, it is a good quality puzzle, no doubt about it. Top quality box and very, very good quality. You can pick up sections and move them. It is a little bit fragile when you have smaller sections that are not very well held together. But on the whole, once it's together, it really is together. It's not one of those ridiculous puzzles where you bump it and it falls apart. All right, let's have a bit of a tour around the image. On this puzzle, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 model trains. Some of them, as an Australian, I don't recognise any of them. They're all American, or North American at least, train engines. But I do recognise this one here, the red one that has Santa Fe, from the Santa Fe Railway on it, because a member of my family has the Lego version of that engine, was given to her as a present, and has that in Lego. So I do recognise that. Similarly, this one down the bottom, where we can see from the side the Pennsylvania Railway engine, I'm pretty sure I have seen that before somewhere in a book somewhere. The others, though, are unfamiliar with them, but nonetheless they are 11, I think it was 11, did I say 11? Yeah, 11 model train engines, including one full-on steam engine and the rest are probably diesel, or this one looks like it's got a steam funnel as well. All right, around that we have a spool of wire, red wire. We have this, what looks like a packaging that is sort of crumpled up and spread out across the shelf with this engine on it. We have a box of something or other that says 6 barrels on it. We have a bag here of artificial coal, which would be for making them puff smoke, even though they are electric model trains. We have a small box on the side here that just says Lionel on it, the brand of the model trains. We have the Lionel smoke pellets. We have a box here that would have contained some element of one of the engines, and the smaller one here, 5 logs it says. And then up at the bottom, 1, 2, 3 Lionel model train catalogues. And they're sitting on 1, 2, 3 shelves. The background is very indistinct. This is a painting. The painting is by Angela Trotter Thomas, an American artist who specialised in model train paintings and automotive paintings, and apparently became quite famous for them. All right, so looking even more closely, we have 1, 2 red engines. We have this silvery grey and blue one, the steam engine. We have a white and red one. We have a green and blue one with chevrons on it. We have a very bright orange one with a blue panel in the middle. We have a brown one with a very distinctive red section in the middle with the Illinois Central logo. We have a bright yellow engine with United States emblem and wings coming out the side of it. And we have this grey, blue, brown one that says New York Central System on it with a number of stripes. And down the bottom, this green, dark green with yellow stripes, Pennsylvania 2332 engine. Okay, so how did I do this puzzle? I did a full flip. I divided this into 4 sorting trays of approximately 500 pieces each. Certainly didn't count them, very approximate. Turned over all the pieces, and I pulled out and made piles of several things. 1, the edges. 2, the green with the yellow stripes and the letters and numbers to spell out 2332 Pennsylvania. So all of that. Then there was a pile of yellow and a pile of red, which is that one, some of this, so the spool and this box. Obviously bits and pieces of other things are red, like the front of this one. And then I did also pull out some white and the yellow, which included some yellow from up here and here and this label on the bottle. There would have been in some section down the bottom here is a lot of yellow and red, so all of that came out into these great mounds on the table. So I actually didn't have a lot of working room. I did have the sorting trays separate, but once I had piles of things on the tabletop, I didn't have a lot of room to move. So I just started where I was. I did the bottom section here with these catalogue covers, quite distinct looking texture. So you can tell when you're looking at a piece, because it's at a very flat angle, everything is elongated. So you can tell when you're pulling pieces out of the box that they belong down here and not anywhere else on the puzzle. So that's kind of handy. So I did do the bottom edge here and the magazine section as much as I could. Then I moved on to the Pennsylvania green and gold striped train. I did in fact pull out almost all of that. There were a few pieces missing, including one of the letters, ironically. And they're some of the easiest parts to recognise in the box. However, I missed one, but I got most of that engine done. Then I worked on the yellow ones. Then I went to, I think I did the white one, and some of the orange one and the red ones. and started putting together these bags, this artificial coal bag, this a really heavily striped piece of packaging that's underneath. Very distinctive pieces there, very diagonally striped. You can pick those out of the sorting trays quite easily, and they've got other Lionel branding logos stamped on them. So to pull all of that out, and this little jar, as much of the jar as I could, there's writing on it, very handy. Writing on the front of the Santa Fe, on the Illinois Central, and on the New York Central State system. So all of that started to form together. I did also tackle the red here of this box. Now there looks like there are locomotive wheels on the front of this box and a label with blue and white, and everything's set on the diagonal so you can see when you're picking up pieces that things with the diagonal white, blue or red on them probably belong down in this corner. Similarly, the diagonal very flat brown section of the side of the box. So some of this came together reasonably well. This box here has writing on it, so not difficult to find, and the reel of wire also very easy to find because it's just red or red and black, or a little bit of white as well, striped straight across the pieces. Blue, I did move on to get this blue engine, but blue becomes tricky because there are so many shades of blue and fragments of blue on this. This whole engine is blue, different shades of blue. This front panel is blue, but there are blue fragments all over the steam engine and little bits in various other parts of the puzzle. And this engine here, the grey blue and the brown blue that goes with this one, so blue was a bit trickier than some of the others. The most difficult engine of all is this steam train at the top here, because many of the colours and shapes and textures can be found on all the other engines. This coupling section underneath, where the engine might join to a carriage or to another engine, most of them are the same kinds of colours and textures as this steam engine, so very easy to get confused there. The circular part of the end of it, obviously that was reasonably easy because you find pieces with this very circular looking sections on it, and you know that it belongs to that because it's the only one. One of the things that does help are the lights. There are lights, so there are 3 lights on that engine. There are 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that one. Over here, 1, 2, 3, and a star. There are 2, 3, some lights on all of them. And if you can find the pieces of the lights, they start to help to form, you can form the engine around them. Next, we have this chevron shape and this sort of bright red down here, which is a different shade of red from these other ones. This is a bit more orange, and down here, so they can come together, and you've got these railings around these 3 engines. They're the only engines that have railings like that, so when you find pieces with the vertical sections of the railing, you know that it belongs to one of them here. Eventually, as you get these engines together, they do start to connect up because there is only one piece between them that actually joins one to the next. So it doesn't take a great deal of time, well, it took a little bit of time I suppose, before they actually start coming together and forming essentially a single piece. Now, I didn't get all of the pieces between straight up, but I did have enough actually to connect all of those engines to make a single piece. Similarly at the top here, this part here makes it a bit more tricky, and this red engine here is actually one of the harder ones of all the engines here because of the plain sections of red, and there's so much other red just like it on the puzzle, easy to get confused. But once you chip away at some of the other sections, you're left with what must come over here. So after that, I had the bulk of the engines done and the bottom edge and parts of the side and top here where it touched this packaging and other paraphernalia up here. And then the rest of the side pieces were all just lined up down the sides of the puzzle to get them off the board. What happens next actually brings the whole thing together, and that is looking for these two shelves, which are timber grain going horizontal, so they don't go in any other direction, only horizontal. This one is much yellower than this one, and once you get some of the engine parts together, you'll see the top of this yellow curve here, for example, that these pieces have fragments of that shelf on them. This one here, similarly here, here as well, and down here with the green, you get bits of the green, you get parts of this here. So you can get the start, the very start of putting the shelving together. That actually doesn't take as long as you might expect. It's not overly quick, but not a huge amount of time in the scheme of things. I mean, there are other parts of the puzzle that took way longer than the two shelves. But once you've got that, you do have the segments and the proportions to start to pull the puzzle together as a single unit. These undercarriage sections are difficult. They, especially these three over here, because the colours just fade to black very often and just have smudges of colour on them, which it's a bit difficult to know where on the puzzle they are. Smudges of blue, smudges of grey, that could be almost anywhere on towards the edges of any of the engines. It does take a bit of effort to chip away at these undercarriage sections of the trains. We have the wheel bogies underneath this engine here. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. It's not hard to find the pieces in the box, but it is tricky to know which wheel bogie the pieces belong to, because it's a repeating pattern. These two match each other and these two match each other. Similarly, the pantographs on the top here to connect the engine to the overhead wiring. They're done with paint brushes, paint strokes, and the lines just sort of fade into each other in a way, so they're a little bit indistinct when you've just got single pieces. But as you start to do this shelving, you do start to connect the whole thing top to bottom, side to side, even if it's just with great gaps scattered throughout. Once I had got that done, I was left with a couple of things. One was the rest of the edge, and the second thing was all the dark pieces that go in and around and behind everything that's on the picture. So I thought, well, I'll tackle the edge pieces, and I got the whole edge done at that point. I did not start with the edge as I might traditionally do. There's so much, along the side and along the top here, in particular, this whole section here and this bit here and this bit here look very, very similar to each other, and I would have had to sit there piece by piece, chipping away. But having done bits of it, put some of the edge in that are different colours, I knew that I was limiting the amount of chipping away that I would have to do. And I found that was a pretty good move. Which left me with all the dark areas, in really, really indistinct areas, some of which are quite reddish and some of which are quite black in the background. So at that point, you'll notice if you watch the time lapse, I did a piece sort across 3 trays. I had reduced the number enough to get 3 trays of pieces, and I had different piece shapes in each tray. And then I just simply went around and I started with any piece where I could see that had this shaped space on the puzzle somewhere. And so I just simply went and filled all of those in, because there's only a limited number of pieces that have that particular shape on them, whether they're singles or doubles. And I worked my way through as many of those as I could to fill in some of the spaces. Then I went into the ones that had the corners, like this, that have a corner of some sort, either one corner or 2, and then put those into place to try to reduce the number of pieces that I had in the sorting trays. After a while, I got down to a point where I just could simply either go by sight, by looking at the variations on the standard piece shape, or a little bit of piece by piece to put the remains together. And I got it all done. This was an op shop purchase, 2,000 pieces. It is complete, and it is an almighty puzzle to do. This is the second time I've done it, and it's a very pleasing puzzle to put together. People who like trains, people who are a bit nostalgic for childhood of the 1950s or 1960s would absolutely love this puzzle. I like trains myself, so I'm drawn to the theme of this puzzle. Yes, it's a really fantastic puzzle to do. I've never seen it before, although when I did do it the first time, I had this overwhelming feeling that I had done it previously. But as far as I know, I never have. I had never seen it until the day that I purchased it in the op shop. Really pleased that it's not missing any pieces, because that would really spoil the effect, I think. All right, we are going to have the time lapse. So if you'd like to click like and subscribe and leave your comments below, I'd greatly appreciate that. If you'd like to share my channel with your puzzling friends, that would be nice too. So on with the time lapse. Thank you for watching.